Transphobia. Who's looking at the transphobia? Ugly people with no personality. What do you hide that lack of personality behind? Bigotry. How nice for you. Hey Spuds, it's Jamie. Welcome back to another video. Fast Channel. I don't know, but welcome either way. I'm very glad to have you here for today's installment of those good old trans memes. The relatable, the funny, the feel good. You know, the memes that aren't transphobic, so they're nice. Yay. And I feel like we could do with a lot more of that in the world right now. So yes, trans memes, welcome. When I'm having fun with my friends and then dysphoria comes round the corner to make me feel like an ugly piece of shit. No, piss off. Dysphoria can get in the bin. I think that should be today's comment. If you want to comment something, comment what you want. But if you would also like to comment dysphoria get in the bin, then you may do so, because that's where it deserves to be. And that's why trans people deserve access to gender affirming care and to just be themselves. Homophobic transphobes when a gay trans person homophobic transphobes when a gay trans person exists, walks past them, breathes in their direction, tries to speak to them. Just absolute terror. What the is going on right now? That's how the transphobes who are also homophobic feel. It's such a trope, I feel, from a lot of transphobes, and we see it from a lot of like turfy transphobes as well. One of the things of like, this is why being trans is bad. They try and make themselves look like gay allies by being,
transitioning people is just a form of conversion therapy.
Not realizing, Karen, that actually a vast majority of trans people don't identify as straight once they've transitioned, meaning they would not have been gay cis people. So I don't really know where the logic is logicking. The answer is it's not, because that's how all transphobia and homophobia goes. But there we are. So when they come across a gay trans person, I swear, you know that scene in Kingsman where all the heads just explode? That's what happens internally. Most people watching female athletes, yay, sports, transvestigators. Well, that, dear Spuds, is called a spotted dick. Do we get the joke? I think we get the joke. And often, more often than not, they are very, very wrong. Transmascs before top surgery. Oh, the cloak. We hide the chest. Transmascs after top surgery. Never putting a t-shirt on again. It could be -12 outside and no, the nipples are out. Also, I'm from the UK, so when I say -12, I mean degrees Celsius, not Fahrenheit. What would -12 degrees Fahrenheit be in Celsius? Because that could have seemed like a shocking number. Fahrenheit to Celsius. Can't spell Celsius. So if we're going for like -12, wow, that's -24 degrees Celsius. That is incredibly chilly. Definitely put the nipples away if it's that cold. -12 degrees Celsius is okay. Never ask a woman her age. A man his salary. A turf, what the is growing on her wall. Oh, JK in the Black Mold. Is that her next book? Forget Harry Potter and the Philosopher's Stone. It's JK Rowling in the Black Mold. The Black Mold was the villain all along. A thing went round recently where she was in some video and in the background, you can kind of see it. I think it's in this photo. There's like a very bizarre pattern on her walls. If we zoom right in on that right hand side, it legit looks like there is mold growing up her walls. And apparently it can alter people. That is what's been said. The black mold is the true turf. No, I don't think JK Rowling gets off that lightly. No, you cannot just blame black mold for the shittery that has been said and done and caused. And you're supposed to be strong, but not too strong, or suddenly JK Rowling, Logan Paul and JD Vance will start to say you're actually a man. I feel like this was after the recent Olympics that happened, where it was like any woman who was a little bit too good at her sport, a little bit too masculine looking, a little bit too strong in the eyes of the transphobes, and they were suddenly trying to find any reason why she might actually be a man. But by actually be a man, they mean either a trans woman or intersex in some way, because apparently that's not allowed anymore. See, make this logic make sense. If an athlete had high testosterone, despite if they were assigned female at birth, these transphobes seem to suddenly now be calling this woman a man because of her testosterone levels. That would therefore imply that they view hormone levels as dictating how they're going to refer to somebody. You take a trans man on testosterone, do they respect that? Do they follow that logic? No, they don't, because they don't actually believe in anything specific. There's not actually any foundations to what they're spewing. There is just illogical rantings, apparently caused by black mold for some people. people, but I guess we'll never know for sure, that really contradict each other, don't make sense. And it's just such a shame that people have decided to listen. It's not worth listening to. Thinking about 9 months on T, Justin Bieber again. Oh, I do kind of see it. There was that whole thing, wasn't there? Like lesbians who look like Justin Bieber. I think it's because he followed that trajectory that is so common with a lot of trans guys of looking really young for a really long time, of being like 25 and looking like a teenager. That is what happened to Justin Bieber. It's definitely not something that's going on with him right now. I believe I'm like basically the same age as Justin Bieber. When is Justin Bieber's birthday? Justin Bieber birthday. 1st of March 1994. I get confused because it's February. Like 9 days older than Justin Bieber. He does look his age now, but he was following the Transmasc trajectory of looking very young. Transphobia. Who's looking at the transphobia? Ugly people with no personality. What do you hide that lack of personality behind? Bigotry. How nice for you. Imagine thinking like, oh,
I don't really have a hobby. I have some free time on my hands. I don't really know what to do with myself.
and just kind of wandering around, and then one day just being like, oh,
I found the perfect thing.
let me punch down and marginalize people within society. How lovely. Let me become part of this cult-like rabbit hole where we just hate on trans people for no specific reason. What a wonderful hobby to have. What a lovely thing to do with your life. Sorry, but if we let people choose their own gender, then what's next? Something else that's none of my business and won't harm me in the slightest? I mean, where does it end? I was very much gotten in the first half of that. I do contest the whole like choose their own gender, but yes, the premise of it is like, oh my goodness, if we allow people to just be comfortable with themselves and their identity and their expression, then where does this madness stop? Me not giving a shit about something else about people that's none of my business? Exactly. Trans people don't hurt anyone. People who are gender non-conforming don't hurt anyone. People who are LGBT plus in any way do not hurt anyone. And the sooner society realizes that it is the bigots that are causing all of the hurt, they have made up the hurt, they have made up the threat, they have made up the fear, they have made up the hurt being caused by certain marginalized communities, and right now it's trans people, and they are now inflicting that hurt themselves onto society and being like, it's the trans people.
So let's blame the transes.
How dare they have healthcare? PragerU, you think of a genius way to own the libs. What do they do? Trans women are men or women. Vote. Oh, is this going to be like an accidental allies thing? Because actually so many transphobes don't even know what a trans woman is, and they don't know the difference or the way round in which trans men and trans women go. They'll finally see how silly they are thinking men can be women. Trans women are women. 44,000 responses. Are you shitting me? And is that just because they're all really silly? And actually their idea of what a trans woman is in reality what a trans man is, and vice versa. So when they're like, a trans woman is what? They're like,
A woman, because men cannot be women.
I mean, honestly, the clue is in the name. If they just engaged one brain cell. I am not a bus. I identify as a train. And look, TransLink. I simultaneously hate this old joke, but also find this kind of funny. I don't know what the intention was. I don't know if they were just trying to be like, oh, because I'm a rail replacement service, I am the train for the day. Or if they are aware of the whole like attack helicopter, I'm not 50, I identify as 20 kind of vibe, and the way that this type of joke has been weaponized against the trans community. But maybe I'm reading too much into it. I'm feeling a little, I guess, angry right now, which may be coming off in some of my reactions. I do apologize. Conservatives standing in the corner, things that don't happen. This has been posted in response to a tweet from a transphobic trans woman. Like, how pathetic. Who was basically saying, transphobia exists because let me live my life how I choose. Oh, sorry, I've got a little pointer that I've been fiddling with. See, look, I can point at you now. Ha ha, from a distance. Or I can point over here at the little potato. I need to not be distracted by a pointer. Anyway, transphobic trans woman, absolutely ridiculous, said, transphobia exists because let me live my life how I choose became let me give kids sex changes, destroy women's sports and control your speech in the blink of an eye. And somebody has very aptly posted the meme of conservatives being terrified in the corner of things that aren't actually happening and don't happen. Trans people are literally still saying, let me live my life as who I am. That is it. Let trans people have the freedom to live as themselves, just as cis people have the freedom to live as their cis selves. There is no kids being given sex changes. The cognitive dissonance going on in this person's mind, the absolute sheer level of having to deny reality must be so bizarre to do. You must have to like lock away the logical, rational, factual part of your brain and function based purely on ignorance, hate, anger, fear, whatever, wherever the fuck this is coming from. Because kids are not being given sex changes. That is ridiculous. Destroying women's sports. Where is that? I cannot find a speck of destruction. Is it over there? I don't no. I'm not in the right mood for this, am I? Anyway, and control your speech. Said on a platform that now calls out the use of cis as a slur and would rather it not be used. I mean, if that's not controlling. Cis is not a slur, by the way, so even more ridiculous. Transphobia. Oh, we've got another one. Okay, who's looking at the transphobia now? People with washed up careers in entertainment. I still don't get it because I don't understand how people can just be so hateful to others and so hateful in a way that is so detached from reality, yet they still carry on down that path and they just don't stop to think about how much hurt they're causing. Aside from me not understanding how you can hurt other people in the way that transphobes hurt people, particularly prolific transphobes who have a lot of power, I've read articles about people who have been manipulated and pulled in to these anti-trans, and they are like cults. They do function in that way. They pick on vulnerable people, they offer support, they offer a community, they close down the information, and they're so like bulldogish and so strong in their conviction in what they're saying. I can see how some people who are maybe struggling with their situation, lonely, on the fence and not sure what to think about something, come across this group of people and it's the first time they've really been maybe accepted within a group or introduced to the concept of trans people, and they're like, oh my god, yes, let me eat up this shit that you are serving. How delicious. Cults are a real thing that people get sucked in by, people get trapped in. And I literally just reacted very recently to an article about somebody calling out the cult-like behavior within anti-trans groups and communities and people. It's not very nice. It's very bizarre, and I can see how some people get sucked into it. But there's a big but. There's also those people leading it, which is often the people we see who are in positions of power and notoriety already before doing this. And I like, what, you just want to stay relevant? You want to become the Anita Bryant of your generation? That's not really the legacy I would want to be remembered for. I don't want to sleep with you, says the random stick figure to a group of trans people. Sure, didn't need to know that information, don't care, don't want to sleep with you either kind of vibe. How big is it?
I don't want to sleep with you, but let me ask you these really intimate questions about your body.
Those two things don't go together. Straights, when they hear the word cis, they think it's a heterosexual slur, which is even more ridiculous because it's got nothing to do with sexual orientation. You can be cis and gay, or cis and straight, or cis and bi, or cis, like you can be any sexual orientation when you're cis. It's not a heterosexual slur. It's not a slur at all. Cis just means on the same side as. I think it's just this strong rejection of like, no, trans people are the ones that get othered. Me as a not trans person, I'm just a person. I am just a man. I am just a woman, blah, blah, blah. I'm not a cis anything. But in reality, if you are not cis, you are trans. And if you are not trans, you are cis. Because your gender is either the same as the one you were assigned at birth, or it is different to the one you were assigned at birth. Cisgender means that it is the same, and transgender means that it is different. That's it. Trans femme goals. I don't know who that person is, but lovely. What luscious long hair. I feel like that would get very irritating, but delightful. Transmasc goals. What's that? Is it the bad person from Sonic? Dr. Eggman. I would rather be Dr. Dorito Man. I don't know if I have ever desired to look like Dr. Eggman. The ability to grow such a splendid moustache would be pleasant, but I don't think I would ever keep it like that. But sure, as a transmasc who cannot agree with the transmasc goal, I have no idea if trans femmes would agree with the trans femme goal. So if you are trans femme, please let me know. Do you agree with the trans femme goal? And if you're Transmasc, actually, am I in a minority here? Am I just not seeing the appeal of being an egg with legs? I don't know. Imagine me taking out the trash, but I have boobs. I mean, I would hate that because I paid money to get rid of mine, but I can see why someone who were transitioning in a different way to me may enjoy this. I guess mine would be, but I have balls. How lovely. But that's what it's just doing, like the general day-to-day things in your life, but being yourself and feeling comfortable with your body. Wonderful. It is becoming increasingly obvious. I can deny it no longer. T gave me a neck beard. Oh dear. Isn't a neck beard where it literally just grows like here and it doesn't come up? I mean, I think most of us start off with a bit of a neck beard. You do you in terms of personal grooming. I would keep a neck beard on the significantly shorter side, but it was whatever you vibe with. Transphobes, trans people are just a cute little bunny. Why are you so afraid? Why are you crying, transphobes? It's a made up thing that it's like, oh, how can I be the victim in this situation? Oh yes, you're terrifying. How dare you? I'm going to try and take away your rights, but you're the one that's the problem. The doctor explaining my top surgery technique to me. I'm not telling you anything new here, am I? Not really. Oh, what technique is that? It's too small. Doesn't seem to be double incision. Maybe peri? Yeah, I feel like as trans people, we have to become experts in the realm of trans-related healthcare, like hormones, surgeries. It's stuff that unless you go to a specialist, that like the doctors very rarely will know what you're actually talking about or what you actually need or what the surgeries are that you've had. Like even when it comes down to things as simple as like hormone monitoring and what type of hormones to be on, they have no idea. I had to go in with like paperwork printed off the internet to prove that what I was saying to my GP about like, yes, this is what I'm being prescribed and this is the dose, blah, blah, blah. When I wanted to change onto a different type of testosterone, I had to do the research because otherwise she was like, well, you're going to need to be referred to a specialist. And I was like, but that's going to take a really long time. And I don't really want to wait, years just to change from an injectable to a gel. She did do it at the end, but yeah, it's just, I feel like a typical doctor would not know anything about trans people or trans healthcare. And then this is also what makes it so ridiculous when people are like, oh, people are just like transitioning willy-nilly and having no idea of the consequences. And I'm like, I've never met a trans person who hasn't done a considerable amount of research into hormones and changes and different types of surgery techniques and pros and cons and risks and everything. Unlike you snowflakes, I'm not easily offended by words. A trans person says cis. No, that's little slur. I'm so offended. This is oppression. I don't know what that says, but I'm so chill. I'm not one of these sensitive, snowflakey transes. It's literally this. This just feels very like, this is Elon Musk. Any pronoun users, people trying to misgender them. Oh, okay, right, I got it. I just thought it was just like anyone who uses pronouns, but no, it's people who literally don't give a shit what pronouns you use for them. The freedom that must come with that. Yeah, the concept that you cannot... I've seen this so many times where transphobes deliberately try and misgender someone who identifies as non-binary and has no preference over pronouns. Literally any pronoun goes, and they're like, I saw one that was like Mr. They, Them. Yeah, sure, thank you. You can't hurt me. Holy shit, what if I started my period? Panic. Oh wait, I'm a dude. Calm. Oh shit, I'm trans. Panic. Yeah. I'm a pretty girl and I will come out to my family soon. I was telling a lie. A partial lie. There is no time frame on when you have to come out. You don't need to come out to them soon and that's okay. You just came out as FTM in middle school. Starter pack. A lemon. A lemon. Google unique boy names. Transition goals are either a literal Viking or an androgynous fairy prince. A hearty trans pride pin. Yep. A big mess of thoughts. Hair colors include this shade of red and this shade of green. It used to be blue. Okay, this haircut. I feel like this is calling out a lot of people. You picked a safe name like Alex, and don't pick your real one until later. One of my best friends is literally a trans guy called Alex. I feel like he would feel quite called out by this. Converse shoes in black. Tumblr, yes. Likely in a really embarrassing fandom, no shade. Crying over gender clinic waiting lists. Pinterest for gender envy boards. GC2B binder or What? I think that's a sports bra. Checked red shirt. This man. Me. That's so weird. I'm looking at this and so much of this would have been me. Oh, how old are middle schoolers? Like, I'm thinking like mid to late teens. 11 to 14. Okay, so I didn't come out until I was 17. But I Googled like boy names. I settled on Jamie. I'm happy with Jamie. It's fine. It's good. I did have a haircut very similar to that. I wanted to dye my hair, but I was always too scared. And then hairdressers used to tell me that my hair was too dark. I mean, it does go very orange if I try and bleach it. Yes, the big mess of confusion. GC2B wasn't around when I was binding. It would have been Underworks back then. I didn't have Pinterest. I did Google gender clinic waiting lists. I had a lot of checked shirts. Yeah, trans pride stuff. A Tumblr. Yes. I think it's just really weird to be on this when this was me. That's cool. If I'm part of your Transmasc starter pack, I'm very honored to be there. Hello. And that's it. That's all the memes for today's video. I hope you enjoyed this little dive. I was a little spicier than normal. I feel like that's been a running theme recently. The world is just in a state right now and not everything feels great. And I know that. And I hope this video could at least in part be a little bit of light relief from that, because we are going to come out the other side of this a stronger community and stronger as individuals. But I know it's really shitty right now, but just remember there's always safe spaces like this channel, like other people's channels. Stay off Twitter and surround yourself with people who are supportive and loving and caring, because they are out there, even if that is online. Sending you love, and thank you so much for watching this video. I hope you enjoyed it. Think about giving a thumbs up and subscribing if you want to, but no pressure. And yeah, as always, thank you again, and I'll see you next time. Much love. Bye.